Today, I'm going to walk you through how to transfer data to and from the DeepSense platform from Windows. Some of our users may be subject matter experts with less technical savvy. If any part of these instructions are too technical, feel free to send an email to support@deepsense.ca and we'll help you transfer your data. There are several different methods to transfer data, and which one you should use will depend on the amount of data being transferred. For reasonably small amounts of data, less than about 5 gigabytes, we can transfer using the login nodes. There are several programs we can use to connect to the DeepSense platform in Windows. A few command line options are the Windows PowerShell or Git Bash, which is what we'll be using. Now, before we start, we'll need to know where the data is located on your computer and where you want to transfer the data to. In this case, I have a directory on my desktop called Files to Copy, and it has a few example data files. Now we can connect to the DeepSense platform using SSH. And since we'll be going back and forth between our local computer and DeepSense, it's handy to have two windows here. So once we connect, we are in our test user's home directory. We'll actually want to copy to our data directory. So now we can use SCP to transfer the files. So from our local computer, we can say SCP, and then the usage is always SCP, which stands for secure copy. And then we're going to list the file we want to copy and then the destination we want to copy it to. So we could copy this test script, and then our destination, because it's on a remote host, is always going to look like this. It'll be our login name at the address of the host. So either login1.deepsense.ca or login2. After that, a colon followed by the actual directory you want to copy to. Right, and now that file has been copied. If we go over here, we can do a directory, we can see that that exists. So we can also use wildcards to copy several files at once. So we could copy all of these data files. And again, to the same username at host colon directory. This will take a little bit longer, but you can see the status of what's going on the right here. Okay, and if we check out the directory now, all the data files have been copied. It can also be handy to use the recursive option for SCP. So from the desktop, if we tried to copy a whole directory, it'll complain, that's not a regular file. It doesn't know how to copy that. So what we can do is specify -r, which stands for recursive. And so it'll copy this directory, all the contents, and all the subdirectories. And again, it'll show you the progress as it's going. So if we look over here, now there'll be a files to copy directory. And once this is finished copying, you can see it has all the contents it should. So another option for transferring data is to connect with a different program. In this case, we'll try MobaXterm. So this is more graphically represented way to connect. So if you click new session, you can specify the remote host, in this case, login1.deepsense.ca or login2. We'll specify the username as our test user. That should be all the settings you need to specify. There are more options though. So if we hit OK, it'll ask us for our password, of course. Now, once we're connected, we have this window on the right, which is a normal command line. We can see where we are and where the directories are. But on the left, we have, you can see this is the directory I'm currently in, my home directory for DS Test User. And these are all the files in it. And so we could actually go over to data and we can check those are all the files we already copied. And if we want to copy more files, we can just drag and drop them here. And there'll be a progress bar at the bottom. In this case, since that file was already there, it overwrote them automatically. Okay, these are the two easiest ways to transfer small amounts of data. Remember, this is anything less than 5 gigabytes. But we'll consider over 5 gigabytes, but less than about 100 gigabytes as medium-sized transfers. Since the login nodes are the main point of contact for all of our users, we don't want to overload them. So we have two protocol nodes which are specifically used to transfer data. However, you can only connect to them via Samba. To set this up in Windows, we use an Explorer window. Now, if we right-click on this PC, we can add a network location. And we'll follow the steps in the wizard. On my computer, there's only one option: choose a custom local network location. And now we need to specify the location. So it will be, happen to already have it in here, protocol1.deepsense.ca/data, or protocol2. When we hit next, we could select a name for this, and I'll just call it data protocol 1. Now, because I had already had this set up, it didn't ask me for my login credentials, but when you try to do it for the first time, you will need to enter your login credentials. Now you can see all the directories in the data file system here. The only one we're allowed to copy to is this one that we have access to. Unfortunately, with Samba, you can't copy to the home directory nor your scratch directory, but you can copy it right to your data directory. And we can just grab a file from here and copy it. So that is how you should copy medium-sized data transfers, which are about 5 gigabytes to 100. If you want to transfer anything over 100 gigabytes, it is best to put the data on an external hard drive and physically bring it to us. We can plug it in directly to our servers and transfer the data for you. And that is all you should need to know about transferring data from Windows.